Hi, welcome back to the Introvert Guy. In today's episode, I want to provide you with an update on the ongoing crisis involving the Russian ruble. But before we dive into that, I'd like to address some of the comments from previous videos discussing the ruble. Many have questioned whether there's really a crisis with the ruble, pointing out that it recently saw a 1% increase. However, it's essential to take a broader perspective. Over the past 12 months, the ruble has lost over 50% of its value. A 1% recovery over a single day or week doesn't offset this significant loss. It's what we refer to as a dead cat bounce. While markets can experience short-term recoveries, it's crucial to assess the overall situation. Despite recent capital controls and interest rate adjustments, the ruble's value has improved slightly, now trading at around 93 to the US dollar. Nevertheless, on a 12-month basis, a drop from 60 to 93 represents a severe crisis. To put it into perspective, if you were initially paid $93 for a job and were suddenly offered $60 instead, you'd understandably be unhappy. That's the situation Russia faces. The ruble's value may fluctuate by 1% or 2% daily or weekly, but without a sustained recovery, it can be classified as a crisis. Additionally, Russian authorities have imposed more capital controls on assets owned by Western companies, worsening the situation. These controls force Western companies selling assets in Russia to accept payment in rubles, making it challenging to exchange them outside of Russia. In this video, we'll examine these capital controls, the ruble's value, Western companies affected by asset seizures, and why these controls are detrimental to Russia's economy. Before we delve into that, I'd like to express my gratitude to those who've supported the channel. If you're interested in supporting us, please check the links below for options like Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, YouTube Super Thanks, and our membership scheme. Now, moving on to the capital controls introduced by Russia, Western companies selling Russian assets must now accept payments in rubles. They face delays and potential losses if they insist on foreign currency payments. These new restrictions reflect Moscow's concern over the ruble's depreciation. Russian authorities initially imposed limits on how companies exiting the country could take sale proceeds when the ruble began weakening in July. Options for selling assets in foreign currencies included transferring funds to a restricted Russian bank account or wiring proceeds abroad in installments. Alternatively, sellers could cash out in rubles. The first two options were restricted in terms of volume and frequency of payments, pushing businesses to work in rubles. These restrictions are now added criteria for deal approval, alongside contributions to the Russian budget and the requirement for asset sales at a 50% discount to fair value. In practice, sellers often face difficulties transferring funds overseas. These restrictions have been introduced to bolster the ruble's value, but it's crucial to recognize that the ruble's recent depreciation is linked to Russia's economic woes. A strong economy usually correlates with a stronger currency, but the ruble's value has been decreasing due to declining export volumes and growing internal demand for imports. The recent reintroduction of capital controls further restricts Western companies' ability to manage their foreign currency earnings. Russian exporters must deposit 80% of foreign currency earnings in Russian banks and convert 90% of that into rubles. The goal is to force these companies to sell around 75% of their foreign currency earnings, mainly affecting their access to foreign currency for international transactions. To illustrate the problem, consider a Russian exporter that received $100 million in sales revenue a year ago. Applying the new percentages, they'd be required to convert 72% of that into rubles. However, with the ruble's current exchange rate of $1 to 93 rubles, the $4.3 billion in rubles is now worth only $46 million, resulting in a loss of $26 million due to the ruble's depreciation. The ruble's value is crucial for businesses and consumers. A weaker ruble increases the price of imported goods, contributing to inflation. Russia's attempts to strengthen the ruble may have stabilized it to some extent, but it remains far below its value from a year ago. In summary, the ruble's problems persist, and Russia is employing various measures to combat its depreciation. The new capital controls are likely to have a detrimental impact on Russian businesses operating in international markets. The ruble's value is not just a matter of pride. It has real consequences for businesses and consumers. Russia's current trajectory poses challenges to its economy, and the ruble's stability remains uncertain. I hope you found today's video informative and thought-provoking. If you appreciate the content, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope it has brought some valuable insights.